live. Alrighty. So this is it. We're here. I guess I don't even know what you would call this, episode 1 or episode 2, but the NBA show, I guess we'll get right into it. I'm Cyro Asseo, and I'm joined by...
Wil Upton.
I didn't know how we were going to do that. That was just like the shittiest toss-off right there. But we'll get right into it. I think the most obvious thing we're going to talk about is Eastern and Western Conference playoffs. I think you agree with that. And then we'll just go into the rest of the bevy of information in the NBA currently.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So I think the most interesting is going to be, I think, the Heat versus the Boston Celtics. Because I feel like everybody just is used to seeing the Warriors have success. So I feel like everyone's going to be tuning in on the Eastern Conference. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think it's going to be, yesterday couldn't have gone perfectly, both sides of it. I'm really excited for both of them. I'm trying to think. I'm more of to be honest, I do have some bandwagon Warriors genes in my blood, so I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, that Heat Celtics series, it feels like it's like 2010, 2012 era. It's sweet.
No, I completely agree. And the crazy part is in your mind, you actually think the Miami Heat are the better three-point shooting team. And I had a bunch of people commenting that, but when I looked into it, the Boston Celtics are actually the better shooting team in the postseason. So it's kind of weird because the Boston Celtics, you could argue, maybe have been more efficient on offense, but the Heat are so much deeper. I have no idea. I said the winner of this series will come down to coaching, which is why I took the Heat, because Eric Spoelstra, is more experienced than MA.
Yeah. I really wanted the Bulls. I really wanted my Chicago Bulls to get him, and all of a sudden they got really Donovan. But I got the Celtics. I don't really care too much who wins. I'm hoping we get a very similar series, hopefully a better Game 7, but I want a Game 7 series. I want back and forth, nonstop action, and it is going to be really interesting. You got two really good, overall solid teams, but offense, defense, I'm excited to see what Tatum and Brown have to say. I'm excited to see what Jimmy Butler has to say. As you mentioned, the Heat are just unbelievably deep, so... Eric Spoelstra, he's a great coach, man. But Udoka, he's a young gun,
and he's grown.
I'm hoping he's got something in his back pocket. I'm hoping.
And that's the thing. I get scared. Udoka has shown the ability to make adjustments, which is obviously the biggest thing. As a playoff head coach, you have to be able to just say, fuck the game plan I walked into this game with, and I'm going to have to throw it out by the second quarter because it's not what we're doing, and it's not working. And I think Udoka's realized that, but I'm scared that the Heat are just too deep, so they'll throw, the Celtics have been running 8-man rotations with a combination of Daniel Tice, Peyton Pritchard, and I forget who's the third guy that comes off the bench right now. I think it's Grant Williams.
Yeah, you got Grant, Derek White in there.
Yeah, Derek White. So it's very, very limited. They go 8-9 guys. The Heat some games are going 10, 11 guys, throwing in Dwayne Dedman, Omar Yurtseven, Caleb Martin. They have just all these guys are just and they still have Marquise Morris, who not barely played. And he's theoretically another small ball 5 if PJ Tucker were to get hurt.
Yeah. I gotta give love to Strus, my DePaul boy, too.
Oh, yeah.
He's Depot, Rocket guy, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero off the bench. Yeah, who knows? Eric Spoelstra can get super creative. He's gonna get super creative with it, and we'll kind of see. I think I'm gonna be really interested to see just how. What day's game 1? I'm excited to see what happens. Game 1 in general, but even game 2 more especially. I'm just excited to see what happens adjustment-wise. I think Peyton Pritchard, I saw him get going fourth quarter yesterday. I think Peyton Pritchard might be the Celtics X factor with Grant Williams, who's he just tied NBA history. Freaking kidding me?
I didn't even know that was going to happen. I was watching that because At one point, like you said, I was watching Peyton Pritchard because, Peyton Pritchard had a really exciting rookie year, and then this year he kind of became background noise, and this playoff game was kind of his, like, breakout party in the playoffs. And then you just started noticing Grant Williams. I was like, damn, Grant Williams is going off harder than Peyton Pritchard. And I was just like, it was like they were just taking turns he's going to make a three, he's going to make a three, he's going to make a shot, he's going to make a shot. You're just like, oh, okay.
I mean, they really were. This dude, oh man, Peyton Pritchard, 4 of 6. Pritchard was like the Dinwiddie yesterday. He was just consistent downtown, point scorer. But Grant Williams, man, Celtics fans will be the first to tell you that boy can hoop. He can defend.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we saw him do a phenomenal job. But dude, 7 of 18 from downtown, team high 27 points. I mean, both sides of the ball, dude. Like, granted, I understand, no Chris Middleton. I hate excuses like that, but, obviously, no Chris Middleton. It's going to be a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Giannis, he couldn't do it all. Grant Williams had a lot to say. He had a lot to say. I'm excited to see how the rest of the postseason goes, but I'm excited to see what's in store for that boy.
Yeah, I feel like Grant Williams could be a guy that, at the end of the playoffs, people are just like, oh, this guy just became a Celtics legend or a Celtics star, where people are like, that's Grant fucking Williams. That's that's the vibe he's giving off at this point, and I think he could be huge for this team. So, yeah, damn.
He's 23.
Wait, what? Really? I thought he was 26.
Dude, he's 23 years old. And yeah, Tatum's 24. I always have to throw that in. Tatum's 24.
And he's been in the league 6 years?
And,
or 5 years?
Tatum?
Yeah. 5.
5. He was 1 year at Duke.
And he came in 2018. Or 2019. 2018, right?
2018?
Yeah, 2018.
Yeah.
He was the second or third pick. It's so hard to remember because the year before was Jaylen Brown, right? Because Tatum was the year after Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See if it says it here. Oh. Tatum 4th year, Brown 5th year.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Damn, that's such a young team.
I know.
And that is something that also scares me, which is something because the whole time I made my predictions video yesterday, I was actually going to take the Boston Celtics, but then as I started talking about it, I was like, damn, the Heat have way more experience being in these types of games, plus just coaching. I think experience at this point, I think that when you look on paper, these teams are too evenly matched to choose. I think it's just experience with the coaches and the veterans is what's going to allow the Heat to win.
Yeah. I mean, Robert Williams, injuries, injury concern as well.
Size.
I think he'll be good to go, but that's always a little concerning to him. It's hard to bet against the Heat, dude. They haven't done anything wrong all season. They haven't done. You had that one little adversity thing. They had that little fight. I'm a Chicago guy. I love Jimmy G buckets. So, I mean, I was fired up. If I was a Heat fan, I'd hell yeah, that's exactly what they need to lay a little match under their asses. So, I liked it.
Yeah, it seemed like it worked, though, because they've been on fire ever since.
Exactly. I loved it.
So let's head over to the Western Conference, and we got ourselves the Golden State Warriors going up against the Dallas Mavericks. And obviously, I think everybody and their mother wants the Dallas Mavericks to win this.
No. I got Golden. I got the Dubs. I'm not ready for the new Golden State era quite yet. I'm excited about Kuminga. I'm excited about Moody, Wiseman. Hopefully they can retain Poole. They better retain Poole. But yeah, I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. I don't know what it is with this love for Golden State, but I have a hat. I bought a hat 5 years ago, so, I have my hat. But I love the Mavs.
I feel that.
I have more stuff to say about CP0, but I don't want to get too much into it. But CP0 is a fraud, and Devin Booker's not a superstar, and Yeah.
Would you blame that game entirely on Chris Paul and Devin Booker? Or do you give some of the blame to DeAndre Ayton? Because he's clearly not a max player.
I mean, like, that whole Ayton situation is a mess. I know I've been seeing a lot of Raptors fans saying, yeah, I'm all set with him. I mean, it's like equally on everybody. Dallas I give a lot of credit to Dallas in general, especially their defense. And as far as that backcourt's concerned, they really focused on just getting the ball out of Devin Booker's hands. Chris Paul's still a great, phenomenal basketball player, but Booker's supposed to be that dude. The whole team in general, they played like dog water, dude. Jay Crowder, 2 of 9. Mikal Bridges, 3 of 11. I mean, it's just, there was nothing there, dude. So, I don't know. Suns need, I don't know. I was just messing around with my buddies yesterday. I was like, they need Kevin Durant.
It feels like that, though, because the whole team, I was watching the game with my dad, and it was like second quarter, they gave up. They literally gave up. And I don't know if that's a coach thing. I don't know if that's a player thing. But somebody gave off the vibe that the game does not matter anymore. And everybody just picked it up and was just like,
They're all frauds to me. They're all frauds until they prove me wrong. I mean, Chris Paul's never proved me wrong ever in his entire life as far as proving me wrong. Same goes with James Harden. But, dude, you have 27 points at halftime. What am I watching right now?
And it was
the Phoenix Suns.
You're the coach of the fucking year.
Yeah, you just won 64 games.
She's like, what do you mean? You're telling me you can barely put up the same amount of points of games you won? They had 90 points or something?
Yeah.
And that was because Dallas just threw in the bench.
Yeah, exactly.
They had Marquise Chris and Boban Marjanovic. Y'all could even put 100 points on Boban Marjanovic.
So, I'm excited for the future Suns talk. But for the time being, I hope Dallas gives them a run for their money.
Oh, so do I.
I'm not too bandwagon Golden State. I'm here for a good another Game 7 series. I hope Golden State takes care. They'll take care of them. But I love Dinwiddie. I love Luka. I've never seen anything like Luka. But quick plug to my boy Jalen Brunson because he was the first. I've only been to one high school basketball game in my life, and he played our team when I was a freshman. He dropped 42 or something.
Oh, he's an Illinois boy.
Yeah, he went to. I can't remember if it might have been Bennett, but yeah, my freshman year
Where'd you go?
I went to St. Viator.
Okay.
So he balled his ass off, and you knew he was that dude.
Yeah, my boys went to Oak Park River Forest.
Oak Park River Forest.
Yeah, my boys I lived with last year. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Wow, cool, nice.
I think it's Jabari Parker went there.
That sounds.
It's somebody random someone random as hell you would never expect went there, and they always bring it up, and I'm just like, cool beans. He's like a bust.
Oh man, Jabari at Duke got me feeling another way. I missed that.
Dude, I loved him. I actually thought Jabari was going to be, because it was Jabari or Andrew Wiggins, and I thought Jabari was the truth. Because I remember him on the magazine when he had the Sports Illustrated basketball in that yellow high school uniform, and he was just and he's a Mormon. He super religious.
And I thought he was Mormon.
Yeah, if you go on his Wikipedia page, his whole life he has carried a basketball in his backpack, a spare change of clothing, and the Book of Mormon. In his backpack. His whole life he carries it. That's supposedly he's known for being an outstanding Mormon.
That's wow.
Yeah,
props Joseph.
Yeah, props to you. That's just something I would never does that mean he plays NBA games with the garments on or no? Do you think they allow them?
Okay. I used to live in Utah my freshman year. My family would say that to me all the goddamn time. They would always talk about the undergarments.
I didn't know that's a thing because Mormonism isn't a thing on the East Coast. Growing up in Maryland, I didn't know any Mormons. It's 40% Jews. I'm a Jew. All the other people I know back out here are Jews. Or you're just Catholic.
Yeah, same. I've never met anyone who was Mormon until I went to Utah.
That's wild. Did you go to your freshman year there? Like,
yeah, Southern Utah. Southern Utah was cool.
Was it Utah State or Utah? Like, what was it?
Southern Utah.
That's the name of the university.
Southern Utah University. Yeah.
What were you doing there?
I wasn't doing much. I'll tell you that. I wasn't doing much. Yeah, I wasn't doing much, but it was cool. It was a cool experience.
It sounds like it.
So yeah, I'm a part-time Jazz supporter.
I feel that. I grew for the Jazz a little bit just because, like, when I started doing YouTube again, the Jazz fans were like one of the first fans that really come over. So like,
okay, yeah, you always, yeah.
You know that fan base that does you really well that you kind of, yeah. The Jazz fan base was that for me. They were really nice to me. So like, I'm a like honorary Jazz fan at times.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're going over here. Dallas Mavericks versus Golden State. I think the advantage the Mavs have is they're really good at making people play their game and not play the opposing team's game, if that makes sense. Like they tell them, hey, this is we're gonna shoot as many threes, and then when you start defending the threes, we're gonna start driving with Dinwiddie, Brunson, and Doncic, and then kick that out or pump fake and kick it out. You know, and that's what. And they're really good at forcing people to play their game.
Yeah, they got that heliocentric offense. It's so interesting. I actually love, like, it reminds me of 2K. Like, I love just controlling a basketball game in 2K with Luka Doncic. Could only imagine how he feels. But yeah, you hit it right on the money. Like, they all play their game. I mean, Luka's going to do Luka things. He's going to make his adjustments. I know Draymond Green said this. Draymond Green was the only person I can think of who predicted the Mavs to beat the Phoenix Suns in that round. So props to him.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, as he said, like, if you have Luka in any game, you can win any game as long as you have Luka Doncic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, you know, you got Dinwiddie, you got Bronson, you got DFS, you got Reggie. Like, you just have, you know, Dwight Powell lob threat. You got a bunch of guys who will just attack that rim. So they can do a bunch of different things. It's definitely not going to be a walk in the park for the Golden State. They better be on their money. Klay Thompson's he's going to have to do something, as he did, you know, to close out Memphis. But that's something I've been really kind of big on is if you get Klay cooking, like if Klay makes like 2 threes, a free throw and a bucket in the first quarter, he's got 10 points, and Poole and Curry, like, it's over in my opinion. But this is a new series.
I think it wasn't
Luka.
That's where I get scared because this Warriors teams, there's been disappearing acts by certain players that Klay Thompson has had quiet games. Steph Curry has had quiet games during the playoffs, and thankfully they've had guys like Jordan Poole being able to step up. And that's where I get scared if you're a Golden State Warriors fan because this Mavericks team really hasn't not had a good game. Even in games they've lost, everyone seems to have given it their all. They've not had a game where someone was a no-show. It's like at least everyone gives it their all. And that's something that I'm scared of is because the Dallas Mavericks weren't planning on being here. They weren't supposed to be here. So they're a team with nothing to lose in the sense. While the Warriors are, I guess you could say in the beginning of the year, yeah, they had nothing to lose. But at this point, they're the favorites, you know?
Yeah.
And that's where
I would say, I see what you're saying. I mean, that's, in retrospect, it's not so obvious that Dallas took down Phoenix, but it makes a lot more sense looking back at it. Like, Phoenix, you know, this is a team that, in general, their franchise struggles when it gets down to this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so they got everything riding on them. They were clearly undisputed best all-around team in the regular season. Dallas, you got Luka's injured, like, in the playoffs. You got everything's just going. Kristaps gets traded mid-season. People are like, what the hell are they doing? It's just so, as you said, they got nothing to lose. I still think Golden State, and I'm going to get my official prediction here. First off, I got Boston in 7. But for this one, I'm going to go Dubs in 6. And I know Steve Kerr's going to make his adjustments, but I can't see Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green losing to just Luka Doncic. I can't. I don't mean it. That sounded so disrespectful. Like Dinwiddie and Brunson are gonna have to do a freaking lot because there's cats named Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, Otto Porter Jr. There's like Golden State is second best defense in the NBA with Draymond Green in 2.5 months. Like I'm just a messenger. I don't know.
Is the Mavs number one, right? Mavs are one, or is it Celtics?
Celtics, yeah.
Because I know Mavs were at top 10 at one point on defense, which was like impressive in
right.
And the crazy thing is like literally it just seemed like the reason the Mavs got good at defense was because they started rebounding as like a team.
Yeah.
And you hit it on the nail on the head. If they somehow start running, I guess, Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber together on the court at the same time, I think the Warriors are the one team that has the roster to perfectly match the what would you call it, the versatility and switchability of the Mavericks, because sometimes they'll run the Brunson, Dinwiddie, Doncic, Kleber, Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock as the power forward center with.
Yeah, they'll go small. Yeah.
They'll go super small, although they'll run the Maxi Kleber, Davis Bertans, Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock, and Luka Doncic, which in its own right is not a huge lineup, but everyone's like 6'8" in that lineup.
Yeah.
And it's weird because they haven't seen a team all playoffs who could match that legit, like I guess you would say, transition and just length until the Warriors, where they have Draymond Green, Draymond Green can beat any center on the Mavs roster. And I guess the only way is if somehow they force the Warriors to shoot where I'm with you. I can't see the Mavs winning this. Like, I want the Mavs to win. I want the Mavs to win. Because it would be cool. It would also be cool.
It would be cool.
Mark Cuban would be the biggest asshole about it.
I do love Mark Cuban. I just kind of started thinking about like a Dallas-Miami finals.
I would love that.
The two teams that don't want to advance, but that makes me feel good that like if whatever happens that I don't want to happen, that's what's like Dallas-Miami, that's pretty OG right there. So I think that if I had to. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I think Miami has the better chance out of the two to advance. I think Dallas. It also comes down to coaching experience. Jason Kidd, people forget this is like Jason Kidd's first season ever where he looks like a competent NBA coach. Because people forget when he was removed from Brooklyn after a year or two, coaching Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and that whole old squad. Then was sent over to Milwaukee. Yes, he's credited with telling Giannis Antetokounmpo to become a point guard, but he was, what was it? He had a switch defense where they switched. It was a weird, like I know it's a precursor to the defense they have today, but he was switching everything, like in a bad way. Like he would have Jabari Parker and Giannis Antetokounmpo just be switching everything. It was bad. But it's crazy to just see how, when you look at the NBA, when you look at coaches and players, like Monty Williams, he coached the New Orleans Pelicans, like Anthony Davis's rookie year.
That's super sick.
That's
super sick.
People don't realize that Eric Spoelstra, I mean, he was the coach there when he faced the first run with LeBron and all them.
On Miami?
Yeah, he was the coach for LeBron, and because he got hired as coach in 2009 or 2010.
What was that? What did they call that era? The Big Three.
Oh.
Sorry. I think maybe there might not even be a specific.
I know there was the South Beach. There was the Banana Boat crew. I don't even know. The dynasty that was supposed to win not one, not two, not three, not four, not 5, 8.
As a Bulls fan, I've had better days than that day as far as free agent announcements go.
My worst free agency announcement, or just in general, was, I honestly think, we had just drafted Andrew Wiggins and the Timberwolves, and we traded Kevin Love for Andrew Wiggins. And I always think about it. What if Kevin Love stayed in Minnesota? Like Ricky Rubio and Andrew Wiggins and Kevin Love. Like, Would that have been a cool team?
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Evan loves the ageless wonder. Are you a Timberwolves fan?
Yeah, so it's weird. I'm like a trifecta of teams. I was born in Minnesota. My first jersey was a Timberwolves jersey. Then I moved to Orlando. My first basketball game I ever went to was Dwight Howard, Jameer Nelson versus Gilbert Arenas and Dwight Howard in Orlando. Then I moved to Maryland. First year I lived in Maryland, it was the draft lottery. And guess who we won the draft lottery for? And they played this music video. Off the wall, off the wall, off the wall. So, and my dad's a Celtics fan because he went to school in Boston. So my top three teams, like 100%, is not Celtics, Timberwolves, Magic, Wizards. That I guess I put Timberwolves or Magic in front. Like I always say, if the Orlando Magic or the Timberwolves offered me a job, I'm sayonara, motherfuckers. Like I would go work for the Timberwolves so fucking quick, or the Magic.
Dude, Minneapolis is like one of my favorite cities in America. I think it's super cool.
Which one?
Minneapolis.
Dude, I haven't been to Minneapolis in so long.
I love it. I love it so much.
It looks beautiful whenever my boys from at college are from there. Like when they show me shit. Like I haven't been there since 2004, so I never really shit. Yeah, like I moved there when I in 2004. So even my one boy, there's the Paul Bunyan amusement park, and he's the only person I've ever had a conversation who knows about the Paul Bunyan amusement park. They got fire pancakes.
Paul Bunyan, wow.
All right, let's move over to the NBA. I guess rumor mill is what we'll go and title this actually. NBA rumor and news. So there's been some rumors popping up. Shout out hoopshype.com for keeping me informed on a daily basis. But as we go over here, the Milwaukee Bucks and Suns are going to have to be facing a lot of money decisions, such as the Phoenix Suns have DeAndre Ayton, who DeAndre Ayton is probably going to be getting competition from the Detroit Pistons, Indiana Pacers, Orlando Magic, San Antonio Spurs, potentially. Not all of those teams, but those are each of the teams that have over $30 million in cap space, as well as the Portland Trailblazers. If they were to waive Josh Hart or trade him, they could have that amount of money. But each of those teams can offer DeAndre Ayton a 4-year, $131.1 million deal. I say, don't do it. Hio?
You don't say that the Suns sign him or that he goes elsewhere?
I think the Suns is the only team that if he's going to get paid $131 million, it's the Suns, because DeAndre Ayton's a poor man's Joel Embiid, who can't shoot threes.
Yeah.
So at best, he's a borderline top 10 center, or maybe it's the seventh or sixth best center in the league. I'll put that there. He doesn't offer you 20 points a night. He doesn't offer you consistent double-doubles. He doesn't offer you Bam Adebayo type defense where he can guard point guards and shooting guards as well as centers. He doesn't offer you, he's very just meh. He's awesome. He's very all around. He's cool. He's a complimentary piece. That's what I see him. He's not the third guy of a championship. He's more the fourth guy. He's like jazz. He's background noise.
That's so brutal.
But maybe I'm wrong, and the Phoenix Suns have contained him. The Phoenix Suns have done him wrong. But they drafted him with a first pick.
I was just reading that the Suns hired a coach from where's Luka? What?
Oh, Slovenia.
Slovenia. It's Slovakian, Slovenia.
I always do it too, or Croatia.
They signed his coach or something like that, and then for the Suns head coach position, and then they draft DeAndre Ayton, so then he ends up getting fired, and now he's on the Mavs coaching staff.
Oh, Igor Korsev.
this?
Yeah, yes, I remember this.
I just saw something about that today.
I know. So wait, what was it about? Because I remember he was only a coach for like half a season, and they fired him, and then they hired Earl Watson, and then fired him again.
They're a mess. I don't know, but basically, I can't believe that looking back at how did DeAndre Ayton go number 1, and then Marvin Bagley went number 2.
Yeah, what the fuck went wrong with that class? Trae Young,
that was
Miles Bridges, Mikal Bridges, Trae Young, Luka Doncic would be the first 4 picks right there.
Oh, what a weird draft.
And they all.
I'm not paying DeAndre Ayton. Actually, I should reiterate that Phoenix probably would love to pay DeAndre Ayton. When I watch DeAndre Ayton, I definitely, like you said, he's poor man Joel Embiid. I don't think he impacts the game at all, really. I don't think it's recency bias. Like, some games will have a bigger impact than others, obviously, but for the most part, I've never watched a game and been like, damn, if they didn't have DeAndre Ayton, they'd be screwed. And I mean, you were talking about Bam, we're seeing it right now with Dwight Powell. It's like, I've been seeing Raps fans saying I'm all set with DeAndre Ayton. Give me Precious Achiuwa. We're all good. Do you even need a 7-foot center? Do you even need, unless your name's Joel Embiid, do you even need, it seems like all 7-foot centers are giving people problems. Karl Anthony Towns, DeAndre Ayton, none of these guys are showing up when it matters. I think they pay him, but I don't think he wants to return. If you can't make a big impact with Chris Paul on the court, I don't know what to tell you. I think he's overrated, and I think he's on his way out. Yeah.
I think he's on his way out as well, because I think the Suns are going to look at this and they're going to be like, why are we going to pay you when we get the same exact production out of JaVale McGee and Bismack Biyombo?
Yeah, JaVale's a stud.
And even Bismack Biyombo comes out. I'm a huge Bismack Biyombo fan. I think he's the most funniest, uncoordinated looking motherfucker at times. Sometimes I watch him, you are so comical. It's almost like a comedy act watching Bismack Biyombo, but I know he's doing everything as hard as he can. It's just he just seems kind of clumsy at times, and I just love it. And his arms are ridiculously long. And this is what we're seeing with teams. The only big man you should be paying is a big man who is going to be either an MVP candidate, Nikola Jokic, or Joel Embiid, or a Bam Adebayo, Rudy Gobert. Even Rudy Gobert is already looking in retrospect like a bad deal at the time. Yeah. But a Bam Adebayo, or I'm trying to think of another center that you're thinking that they're versatile. They're not one-dimensional in the sense that Bam Adebayo, yes, he can only score within 5 feet of the basket, but he can go and guard every single position. He can go guard the opposing team's best player. Nikola Jokic literally makes the whole team better, doesn't miss a shot. That we don't even have to talk about him. And Joel Embiid's just on another level as well. Like you said, DeAndre Ayton doesn't move that. And so I could see a deal where, hey, San Antonio Spurs, I talked about this already. The Spurs, Jokic Poeltl, which I know they very much do like, and I think Jokic Poeltl is the 5th best defensive center in the league and probably the 10th best center overall in the league. He's a good center. I could see them doing a sign and trade for DeAndre Ayton, send over Jokic Poeltl, and give him maybe a similar deal to Jokic Poeltl, maybe $15 or $20 million a year for DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah,
and
I'd like that.
I think that's just. It'd work out for both sides, because I think that's what the Suns need. They just need a big man who will do what they expect but won't do too much. Because I think...
Yeah, because Book's still got to be that guy.
Yeah, Book's still got to be that guy. And now if we even look at this team also has to decide, Jay Crowder, do you keep him or do you move on? Because Aiden, Booker, and Cam Johnson are all going to need new deals. And I feel like I love Jay Crowder, but it was I don't even know.
Yeah, I think he's super solid. But if you got McCall, and if you got Cam, I mean,
you move on.
I feel like Cam's too good past this season to keep on the bench for sure.
And you tell him to put on some weight in the offseason so you play power forward next to Mikhail. Because he's like, what, 6'9", Cam?
Exactly. Either one of them, I think would be just fine at the power forward.
Yeah.
Position. Yeah.
And it really wouldn't be the power forward. It'd be the second wing position.
Yeah. And then, I mean, if you need to get that size and you do get Pirtle, you got hopefully JaVale and or Bismack. Or if they, aren't able to get, I don't know which deals either of them are on, but, if you don't even have either of them, they know what they want, so they'll figure it out.
No, I completely agree. I definitely think when you look at this, the Suns' offseason is going to be way harder than the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, the Bucks, I would not be, like, the Bucks just seem like they're going to have to completely rebuild, okay?
Oh, jeez.
Like,
what do they have to do here?
Look, Chris Middleton, Pat Connaughton, and I think Brook Lopez, they have a few guys who are all going into free agency. Look, Chris Middleton is not going to free agency, but Chris Middleton, he shot 44.3% from the field and 37.3% from three, which is one of his lowest figures over the years, in the sense of he's became inefficient, you could argue. And it makes it seem like, is it worth giving him a lucrative contract while you also lost Dante DiVincenzo and Pat Connaughton is now going to leave, and you're only going to be left with Grayson Allen behind there, and you're still going to be losing Brook Lopez and Antetokounmpo. So I just think this is a team that when PJ Tucker left, they're still reeling from PJ. Imagine if this team had PJ Tucker, and Bobby Portis is also a free agent.
Oh damn, he's a good guy.
Yeah, so
I would say. Speaking on PJ Tucker, if they didn't have PJ Tucker last year, they don't win the finals. I'd go as far to say that. That's another thing. PJ Tucker's that freaking guy.
I love that guy.
But I'm almost thinking I'm gonna have to dive into Milwaukee a little bit more here now that their season's over. But I'm at that point where I'm probably just running it back again. The thing is, I like Drew a lot. It's just tough, man. Chris is their closer. I can't blame an injury for losing because a good team, a great team, a championship team is going to go against that and make it to the next round some way, somehow. But Chris Middleton's a closer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just can't, I never would ever rely on Drew Holiday to be my number two guy and feel good about that.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting, I'm going to have to figure out what they should do or something. Dante.
Yeah. And the crazy part is this team is just, I feel they need to reload.
Yeah. That's fair.
It's Brook Lopez. Let's find a new Brook Lopez. Okay? Let's find a new Chris Middleton. And I don't even know who you would say because honestly, the only person I could look at and they could replace him with is Zach LaVine. And I know the Chicago Bulls will never let him walk. And plus, if Zach LaVine left, he's leaving $70 million on the table.
He's leaving a lot of money on the table. And if he left, I think he'd go to LA. But I want him to leave.
You want him?
The record show, yeah, he's not that guy. He was not that guy. I don't want to pay him if he's not that guy. He wants to be paid like he's that guy. I don't know, maybe score more than 12 points. I don't want a Zach LaVine. I don't want a guy who's gone through all the injury stuff he has been through, can't play defense, to be paid so much money to be our number one. I'd rather build around DeMar DeRozan, which is so doggy because he's old.
DeMar, though, reborn. He's been reborn.
Like LaVine, dude. Oh, my God.
You're the first Bulls fan to say that. Most Bulls fans, rather keep LaVine and get rid of everybody else.
Yeah, I don't... Yeah, I almost want a LaVine for AD.
I mean, imagine Vooch next to AD. I would like that.
Maybe that'd be the secret combo.
There's a chance that would be like horrendous at defense.
Yeah.
It depends on what AD you get.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I don't even know what to think about Vucevic, but he's still so solid at what he does. The Bulls are such an interesting team.
He had a career year, Vucevic, this year.
He's super good, man.
Yeah,
he's super good.
Offense only, like defense. He'll give you a block maybe once a game, twice a game, but he's going to give up a lot of points in the paint.
Oh yeah, he's going to. It's like Christian Wood.
Yeah,
a little better than Christian Wood.
I honestly don't understand why they play Christian Wood at center. I would just tell him, be a power forward. Just stand in the corner and just I'm
a Rockets fan.
And people were so mad out of Rockets fans when I recommended they should trade him this year to get value out of him because he's going to walk in free agency next year. And I was like, he probably will have the most amount of value this offseason if they wanted to trade him.
Yeah, the whole Christian Wood's interesting. I make so many videos about this on my Rockets channel. Like, I'm so split between Wood because I don't think mentality-wise he's that guy. Defensively, he sucks. And so he's going to have to be a 4. He doesn't want to be a 4 for some reason. I don't think he has a future in Houston. And what I've been saying is I've been looking at I've been looking at Portland, actually, because they got 2 lottery picks. So maybe if they can sneak in a Christian Wood for, one of those lottery picks, something like that. There's going to have to be some sprinkles and some cherries in there. But I am thinking that could be something I'm interested in. But at the same time, a 26-year-old guy who's on a $13 million a year contract who's giving you 18 and 10 on a down year, like, they should be able to, even if they had to wait till the deadline of next year, they should be able to get something.
I feel like you get a first-round pick if you traded him this offseason, like a future first-round from a contending team. I could see the Milwaukee Bucks, if Bobby Portis is walking, be like, hey, Christian, you want to come over here? We'll throw over, a 2033 first-round pick. Like...
I want Drew Holiday back. Oh, no, I really want Drew Holiday back at all. Give me Chris Middleton in return.
You think?
Deal.
I look down. I look down at the NBA, and I think it's definitely going to be an interesting offseason for a multitude of teams because people don't realize next year, this is going to be a huge offseason because the CBA/media deal dries up. And the only reason I say this is the only team that's talked about this openly is the Oklahoma City Thunder. And they're like, yeah, so we're not planning on we have a bunch of money, but we're not going to sign anybody this offseason. We'll do extensions. And they're like, why? They're like, well, the new media deal kicks in 2023, and there's expected to be a $25 to $50 million jump in the cap space. And if you look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're projected to be able to sign 3 Supermax contracts that offseason.
Oh, wow. That's awesome, actually.
So they'll be able to go out into free agency and just tell, like, a guy, oh, you want to come to Oklahoma? Well, we can literally pay you, LeBron, and Kevin Durant each $55 million a year because that's what they're writing. They're like, yeah, we're just going to manipulate the cap so that when the cap jumps, we're going to be at 33 out of 125, and then it's going to jump to 175. So we'll be at 33 out of 175. So we'll have 140 because that's why they keep drafting young guys so they can just keep the contracts low.
I can't remember who it was, if it was a GM or if it was an announcer or an analyst or whatever, saying 3 years or 5 years, 3 to 5 years from now, OKC will be the best team in the NBA. And it makes total sense. And shout out, Giddy Up, baby. Giddy Up, by the way. That's interesting, though. Do you know, I need to do some more research on this, but I've been seeing just talks of, not really being able to get around a lockout. Don't think that's this next season. I don't know too much about, the media deal and that type of thing, but if there was going to be a lockout, would it be in that off season?
All right, so from my understanding, the NBA lockout, I did actually read about this a few months ago. There was, because nobody likes to use the word lockout. That's almost, that word is
blasphemy.
Yeah, blasphemy. They'll come at you and they'll be like, who said lockout? Lockout. Because the last time we had a lockout, we had guys playing in Italy for a few months. And I think I do believe it would be next year because, so right now the NBA is considered one of the best collective bargaining agreements in all of sports, where I think it's almost a 50-50 split between owners and players. I think NFL is like 70% owners, 30% players, or 60% owners and 40% players, while NBA is 50-50. So right now, the reason why I get scared is Apple TV, Amazon definitely are going to come into the NBA. And it's because the NBA, you could argue their TV contracts have been a little bit different, strange, compared to the NFL, because I swear every year the NFL has a new online streaming service that can use their games. Like the year before it was Paramount Plus, year before that Apple TV, year before that Amazon.
Yeah.
And I think now, and this year we see with the World Series and baseball, general Apple TV has baseball. And I think that's where it's going to, especially being a journalism student, I think the lockout is not going to be over the collective bargaining agreement, because the NBA agrees we don't test for drugs. You can do as many, drugs, recreational drugs as you want. Just don't show fuck up. We don't test for drugs. That's why everyone's able to smoke weed. And for the most part, they are pretty lenient on doping, which, again, everybody knows. The last, really, whenever you get caught, like DeAndre Ayton got caught, he got caught for diuretic. So they're pretty cool with the testing and the collective bargaining agreements. Maybe they'll talk about cutting it down from 82 games to 56, or adding a tournament in the middle of it.
Yeah.
That's some points of contention, but it really comes down to how they're going to split all this money coming in. Because I'm expecting the current media deal is like $3-4 billion. This will probably be a $10 billion deal. That's almost 3 times the size, or is 3 times the size. So that's where I think it's going to become complicated, because the owners are going to be like, well, it's a lot more money now, so instead of 50-50, what if we keep 60?
Yeah, someone will get greedy.
Yeah, and the players are going to be like, nah. And then, like you said, it's going to come down, how are we going to split this money? And also, people don't, like, I'm trying to think, is the NBA a revenue sharing thing? Like, does the worst team, even if they operate in negative, like how the NFL does, everyone makes a profit off the pool? Or does I think the NBA, you keep like ticket sales, or some aspect you keep yourself. So there's so much stupid stuff that goes into the collective bargaining agreement that it's fun as hell to read. If you've ever like sat down and tried to read a collective bargaining agreement of the NBA, like you look at it, you're like, holy shit, there's all these rules they have to follow that you never think about. But this one, I think everything's set in stone. It's money. It's how are you going to split up fucking $10 billion between 150 players, or what is it, 450 players, and probably another 150 coaches and shit and execs? How are you splitting up all that money?
Yeah.
Because it's easier when in the NFL, in a theory, when there's like 5,000 individuals working for the NFL and over 1,000, 2,000 players, so everyone just gets a little bit of the pie.
Yeah.
But
Much bigger.
Yeah, when it's 15. Yeah, you know what I mean. When it's 15 players per team, it's a lot of money going on. Like each guy's like, that's why someone said Andrew Wiggins is going to get moved. I'm like, well, Andrew Wiggins' contract potentially will become a very cheap contract in a year and a half.
That's wow.
Yeah,
that's
so like,
wild.
at the same time, this could not happen. Also, like people could. A lot of teams are operating over the luxury, because they're expecting this to happen, because they'll be like, oh, it'll be fine. We'll have to pay the luxury tax 1 year, and then we won't have to worry about that. That's why you see a lot of teams being bullish and signing these contracts, expecting. But imagine if it doesn't happen.
I see.
A lot of teams are going to have to sell those players.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about. Like, the collective bargaining agreement is fucking wild. So
that's interesting.
What do you like? What have you read? Is that they're saying this upcoming or the following?
I don't remember anything. I just vaguely remember hearing talks about a probable lockout.
Yeah, they're always there. Like, it won't be long. I think as a society with social media, they wouldn't let the NBA have that long of a lockout because the media would just pressure them. Plus, they just had a pandemic. And that's the other thing. You know what's the other thing I just realized? NBA expansion. If the lockout happens, it's because they're expanding the NBA. Obviously, the first team is going to be the Seattle Supersonics. But the second team would be, it'll be a huge debate between Las Vegas, Kansas City, and I'm trying to think of a third team. There was one more city Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville, a city in Kentucky, Kansas City, and Las Vegas will be fighting for this 32nd NBA spot.
I'm all set with that. My money's on Vegas.
And my money's on Vegas as well.
Yeah.
But when they had the last All-Star game in Vegas back in 2008, I think there was over 500 people arrested during All-Star weekend. And they said a huge amount of gangster activity was going on that weekend and criminal activity. So that came up from LA. You know, and I would love, I think Las Vegas obviously for the money, but I think it's definitely be better if they go a basketball town like Louisville or Kansas City where there's basketball going on. Maybe that's just me because also I go to school in Kansas and I would love to have a basketball team right there.
Yeah, to me that's just so boring. It's so boring. Kansas City is a lot better than Louisville. I just don't I've just driven through Louisville and it's just so boring to me. Just snoozing. Always snoozing through Louisville. But Kansas City's not too bad. I like the Royals.
Yeah, I mean,
they got baseball there. St. Louis isn't the end of the world either. I throw back St. Louis Rams. I miss the St. Louis Rams. I know it's a different sport, but
yeah, no, I agree. I actually fucking hate baseball. Yeah, being from Baltimore, the only team I had to go watch was the Baltimore Orioles, and I don't know if you know, the Orioles fucking suck.
Yeah, they're terrible. My cousins live in Baltimore.
Really?
And yeah, so I know a little bit. I used to be addicted to baseball, so.
Oh really?
They've been sorry. I feel like
since Cal Ripken retired.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some potential coaching changes. Okay, we got obviously, I'm so surprised that they haven't hired a coach yet, the Lakers or Hornets. So let's talk about those, but there's also now Doc Rivers and our man, Quinn Snyder, and as well as, I guess you could say, there's a plethora of guys out there. First off, Mike D'Antoni is the front runner for the Hornets job, with Quinn Snyder allegedly wanting to go to the Lakers. And now Doc Rivers could be on his way out, as well as Quinn Snyder being interested in going to Philadelphia. So let's talk about this because it's definitely interesting because there's also Mark Jackson and everything. It's kind of wild. What do you think?
Yeah.
Are you a guy who's into finding coaches?
I'm a little bit more of. I think I have to have a little bit more of a personal connection to a team before I start caring about it.
Mm-hmm.
For the Bulls, I was saying Udoka. I thought he was the guy. And then they went out. They got BD. I would say a team like the Lakers, I'm a little bit more curious about. I was actually just talking about this not too long ago. Mark Jackson's not the guy. He's young. He's great at developing young guys. I wouldn't hire him for that job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. D'Antoni in Charlotte. That's actually super interesting. That's super interesting.
He was hired by Mitch Kupchak in the Lake, but when Mitch Kupchak was the Lakers general manager, I believe it was.
I mean, man, I haven't heard that name in years. Mike D'Antoni.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting to see what he can do. LaMelo Ball. I'm curious to see just LaMelo Ball's future in general.
Yeah, no. It'll be interesting because you think that team's going to be horrendous at defense with Mike D'Antoni, and and the reason they fired James Borrego was because they sucked at defense. So it's kind of
that firing made no sense.
I really don't know. I think the best thing all right. I don't think Doc Rivers is a good coach. He doesn't coach defense. He doesn't coach practice. I don't think any of his teams practice ever. Like I'm not kidding. I know when up until he went to the 76ers, one of the reasons he was fired from the Clippers was because Paul George and Kawhi Leonard were like, yeah, we've been here for all year and we never had practice. And then guys were like, yeah, I've been here 4 years. We never have ever had a practice.
Jeez.
Yeah. Doc Rivers does not believe in practice.
Sus, yeah. Okay.
Well, he's a player's coach, so he's why do professional athletes need practice? Which, I mean, in theory, you're right.
In theory.
It's all they need to do is just run drills and watch film, and you just tell them. But, what about running plays, installing your offense or your schemes? But that's just me, I guess. And I look at this. I like Quinn Snyder, but I think there's something wrong in Utah. But I'm also a big proponent. Why aren't these coaches waiting so long to fire their coaches? Or these teams waiting so long to fire their coaches? They should be firing them a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a month ago.
Yeah, cool. No, I mean, the Utah team in general is kind of interesting. I'm really curious to see what they do. I would honestly, I think Quinn, he's not a free agent or anything, or is he just on the hot seat?
He, I believe, has a year left on his deal. And I think it's an option, so he could decline it.
Okay.
Theoretically speaking.
I don't think, unless they go full scale and they trade away both of them, Donovan and Rudy, I will probably not the best option, but I think that they try and tweak it and try it one last time. It's obviously going to fail miserably. But I think Quinn Snyder's a good coach. I just don't think I've never really been a fan of the Utah Jazz's squad in the most recent years, to be honest with you. I mean, especially a backup. It's little stuff like backup being Hassan Whiteside. That's not going to work. Jordan Clarkson's cool, can't play defense. Joe Ingles, they're all old. They're all old. That team's just old, or they don't mesh well, or I just don't think they're that talented. So I think Gobert's gone. And I think Quinn will stay if that happens.
Well, yeah, I think Gobert is gone. I think people are going to be surprised by how much teams are willing to take on a guy like Rudy Gobert, which personally I would never trade for. And it's nothing. I think Gobert is a great player, fascinating guy. I just don't think he's the type of player you can, for the contract at least. I think you can win a championship with Rudy Gobert, definitely. But because how much he's getting paid, you can't win it. You can't build a team around the guy who's making that amount of money.
That 35 a year.
Yeah, and I think the end of it, he's making basically 40.
That's too much.
It's too much.
Screws everything else.
Yeah, if he was making 20, okay. Even then, I'd be pushing it already a little, but...
And 20's not too bad, though. You got a depoy there.
Yeah. It's just... And then you look at... It's also the Utah Jazz. They have to blow this up, because if you run this back, what is this, year 5, year 4 in a row? The rule of insanity is trying something over and over again and expecting different results.
Yeah. It's just a couple years from
yeah, I know.
Donovan Mitchell versus Jamal Murray bubble showdown. And even that, they couldn't get the job done, and Donovan Mitchell had to do every single thing possible. So,
you hear Chris Paul? I'm not retiring.
Chris Paul said that?
Yeah, he says Chris Paul on this possibly being his best shot at the title. They said that last year. They said it back in 2008. They say every time you lose, they're gonna say it's your best shot chance. We'll be back next year. I don't know if you'll be back, Chris Paul. Chris Paul, I really think you should join LeBron.
Well, yeah, it'd be cool.
I would love that.
CP3 or Lakers would be.
I would love that. Okay, like I'll be the first in a minute. Okay, I'm not over here. I'm not sucking LeBron dicks. Like LeBron dick. Oh wait, I'm not sucking LeBron's dick all the time. But I can tell you didn't know where I was going with that. But I love me LeBron. Like I want LeBron to like. Do I want LeBron to have more rings than Jordan? Yes. Do I think LeBron's better than Jordan? It's weird. I don't compare them because it's like nobody sits here and goes, Tom Brady isn't as good as Johnny Unitas. You don't fucking compare Johnny Unitas, Y.A. Tittle to like Tom Brady, you know? Because they're played in the 1960s. Two different eras, you know? Like even basketball, you compare Jordan to LeBron. Like LeBron's on like juice and stuff, and so are all the other players. Well, Jordan, he was he was with guys who couldn't even jump like 30 inches. We didn't even have 30-inch verticals.
Yeah.
So it's like weird to compare. I don't even know what we're talking about. All right. So I don't even know what. As we wrap, like, did you want to go for 2 hours today, or are we going an hour today? Because I have no idea what else we could talk about right now. And
yeah, not really sure. Is this a daily show or a weekly show?
I don't know if you want to do daily or not. Right now, it might be a little tough to do daily because the options.
It's a little tough. Yeah.
This might be maybe a bi-weekly. We'll figure this out. I'm gonna run through this tape. We're gonna wrap it up right now. Thank you for whoever the fuck watched. I think we had concurrent views. It was not much, but it's not really a give a fuck. We had 35 views.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah. Shout out, 5 likes. Pretty cool. We had at one point almost 7 people watching at once with an average time of 3 minutes. Fantastic. Either way, we'll figure out how to get this going up. This mainly is how we're going to be recording, I guess, the show, because I got to call NPR. We would really like to have this on NPR because then we could be talking to people in their cars, and I could be like, hey, call 352-484-2958. And then I put my phone up and we have like some fucking like Kansas like on like, hey, I was just thinking, you know what I mean? That's sort of like the ideal thing right now.
That'd be cool.
And the way it would be is like this video part is like we would still keep it, but we would send the audio to like through people's cars. Mm. And the only thing is we not be able to cuss because it would be it's NPR. It'd be National Public Radio. It'd be nonprofit. Like it'd be like
yeah.
That's the one downside, but the cool side is we get like a shit ton of people potentially. Like I know, like every time we'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" Before you guys tune, I know you guys are already going to turn the dial, but this is the NBA show. Maybe you stick around, like because like you have to think about it. Like NPR is just basically PBS for the radio.
Yeah.
So, all right. That's it. I'm going to shoot you the clips of what I edit. I'm going to edit this. I got to go right to final. We'll figure out everything. This is the first episode. And the only episode that will be on my YouTube channel. The rest will be on the NBA show YouTube channel. Link in my description and all my videos and stuff. So, anything else you got to say, Will?
No.
Nah.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And it should be pretty fun.
Yeah, we'll be talking more.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out the kinks, but this will be an iconic episode for years to come.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to be like, what the fuck is this? This ain't nothing like they do originally. All right, I'm going to head out. I got shit to do. No, I actually don't have shit to do. I got hungry, and I actually ordered a sandwich while we were talking, and I'm going to pick up said sandwich. Yeah, from a bagel shop.
Oh, cool.
Yes. Yeah. Nice. Got a little prosciutto, a little parm on that bitch.
Prosciutto.
Yeah, a little prosciutto to parm. What do you call it? Poppy seed bagel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know. I'm bougie right there. It sounded really good. When I was looking at there, I was like, ah.
That sounds good. Are we still live?
Yeah, we are live right now. I was about to hang it up.
Is this going to be on the NBA show?